Ah, Black Lagoon, a crime-ridden, drug-infested shithole for you and me, but to the inhabitants of Black Lagoon, a wonderful, crime-ridden, drug-infested shithole. This city is home to every type of thief, gang member, mafia boss, and war criminal you could think of, a breeding ground for future terrorists and even podcasters. Every day the forecast calls for a 100% chance of empty cartridges. It's also home to who people claim to be the queen of Black Air Force energy, and today we'll be seeing firsthand if that title is warranted. Welcome to Roanapur. We'll make sure your stay is short. I'll be splitting all the major arcs into their own chapters because, I don't know, I like naming things. Chapter 1, Revy vs. Hitler. God, off rip, if this doesn't have you intrigued, I'm not sure what will. We follow a dude named Rokuro, a Japanese businessman living the life of an everyday underpaid number cruncher. That is until life literally knocks him on his ass. There is nothing more fitting in this story than our main characters meeting for the first time at gunpoint. They only wanted him for this CD, but the girl is like, he looks stupid and will most definitely die out here. Can we keep him? By the way, your name is Rock now. Damn, that's way cooler. And yes, this is the main cast. First, we've got Dutch. He runs the company, and messing with his boat is like messing with his own mother. Every crew needs a guy with the smarts, so here we have Benny. He's good with computers, and he's from Florida, which is crucial to him as a character. Lastly, we've got the star of the show, the one that's gonna be in all the marketing, Revy. I really doubt I need to explain what kind of character she is, but just so we have everything covered, her mind is nothing more than tumbleweeds and bullet shells. You will never reason with her because she would have already blasted your ass before you even opened your mouth. She is a deranged, cold-to-the-bone mercenary. With that being said, I can fix her. Make no mistake, this is one of those stories that will not bullshit you at any point. It knows what we want to see and it always delivers. For example, the intro at the very beginning of the series, what's the first thing they open with? Exactly, right on that ass. Fun fact, that symbol on my profile picture is actually Revy's tattoo. I just think she's neat. She also goes by two hands because I have no idea. My best guess would be she's really good at giving dual hand jobs like she's skiing. Either that or I have a porn addiction. Either one of those is very plausible. If you're curious about the power scaling of Black Lagoon, it goes as follows. There's Rock, everyone else, a mystery character, and then the one and only Scar Bunny herself, Balalaika, the leader of the Russian mafia. Her and her comrades were shunned from Russia once the Soviet Union collapsed, and now her and her team, who's made up of the strongest soldiers in the world, pretty much run Roanapur. Everything in this series happens until she says so. And while Rock and the gang are chilling at a bar, she warns Dutch about an assault in T-minus right the fuck now. Our first major action scene in the show with Revy getting to showcase why she's not to be taken lightly, whipping out the twin Berettas and airing out the entire bar with a grin on her face. I love pretending like I know anything about guns when I just listen to a lot of rap music.
What you have there is not clips. These are mags.
By now, I think the driving force behind this story is very obvious. Rock and Revy work about as well together as mustard and ulcers, but they're gonna keep working together because Rock's finally getting some excitement in his life and Revy obviously wants him to stay. Remember, Rock, if she calls you a pussy and a waste of nut, it means she's warming up to you. We see their worldviews clash even further once they start looking for Hitler's painting. No, I'm not kidding. The Lagoon Company pretty much just takes whatever jobs they can from the Russians or the cartel to make some bands, and there's almost no consistency to this shit. One minute they're sent to colonize Zimbabwe, and the next they're delivering paper towels to Aldi or some shit. So after Revy takes down like 5 heavily armed boats by herself like it's just another Wednesday, her and Rock are sent down to retrieve the painting and collect that paycheck. Revy comes across some Nazi medals wanting to cash them in, and Rock is like, hey, we shouldn't take that. Listen here, Rock. What are these? They're wrong! They're just things at the end of the day. They are worthless when you strip away their meaning. However, this metal, most people would agree, is worth a lot of money, don't you think? Is money your god or something? It's funny you say that. I used to believe praying every day that things would get better for me. And what happened? I was neglected, abused, assaulted. I even killed my own pops. I hated him so much. All this sentimental value shit means nothing to me. Next time you try to tell me what's right and wrong, you cross me even once, I'm gonna skin you.
Huh?
The Nazis end up taking the painting, but Dutch isn't about to let that slide, so him and Revy are gonna steal back the stolen item from the ones they stole it from. Only issue being Revy's not in a very good mood and ends up nearly killing a bunch of innocents, leaving it up to Dutch to put her in her place. Then again, if this big-ass motherfucker ran up on me and gave me a whole-ass introduction like an episode of Power Rangers, I'd probably want to kill everyone on that bitch too.
I'm Tyrone, and I came to fuck your wife.
Let's just try it. Here you go, old man. Knock yourself out.
Okay, that's gotta be racist. Next episode, we have Rock and Revy moving from job to job.
Hold on a sec. Is she taking it up the ass?
You betcha, sweet Bippy.
One of these jobs being at the church, which is also where we meet my favorite character, Etta, a nun who keeps a peace on her in the name of Jesus. What the fuck was that? Her and Revy seem to be on equal power levels, but Rock manages to assess the situation without violence, something that does not make Revy very happy. Things start getting heated between the two, and it takes absolutely no time for Revy to pull out the gun. However, to her surprise, Rock actually grows a pair and tells her off, resulting in her throwing a tantrum and the cops taking them in. Revy finally calms down and she asks him what side he's on. Rock tells her, "I'm right where I need to be. I'm here for the long run." The episode then ends with the most intimate thing they'll ever do in the show, and of course, it's a cigarette kiss. So far, we've seen what Revy is capable of and how she views the world. But what if I told you there was someone even more vicious? Someone even more racist? Not Etta, not Balalaika, a maid. Stay with me now. The Lagoon Company takes a job from the Colombian Mafia, and they end up having to transfer this kid. His name is Garcia, heir to one of the great families of South America. His father was recently murdered by some American soldiers, and now his maid is on her way to save him. Revy doesn't take this seriously in the slightest and would rather bully the kid some more. However, he warns her she is not to be fucked with. Apparently, she was a trash-ass maid, but she did her best and would always arm wrestle with Garcia. Until one day, the Mafia came to their house, and in that moment, her arm wouldn't even budge. Holy shit, her bicep is bigger than mine. I say that like it's a grand accomplishment. Balalaika wants more info on her, and when she gets a picture, she's like, "Dear God, that ain't no maid." And she's absolutely correct. Check it. She's got Revy's eyes, the eyes of an apex predator. Lagoon Company takes the kid to the bar where they're supposed to trade him, but guess who's already there? Roberta the Bloodhound. The Mafia tries to run up on her, and yo, her arsenal is crazy. She pulls out an umbrella on some penguin type shit, a fully loaded briefcase, and some upskirt frag grenades, even knocking out Revy in the process. Garcia's never seen her like this, so he's bricking shits and starts begging to go with them. So the crew speeds off. They gone. They outskis. This would not last more than a minute. She catches up in no time at all and grabs Dutch at the window. He is fighting for his life and she's not even phased. They manage to slow her down, but then she starts driving on the fucking rooftops! Okay, real talk, watching this anime, I thought it was alright. I would have given it like a 5 or a 6. But bro, once Roberta is introduced, I was bewildered. It takes a special kind of author to craft a character this interesting and obscenely badass. Remember kids, the more unassuming they look, the more formidable they're gonna be. They end up crashing into the docks and Revy wakes up just in time. She's like, "Stay in the car, I'm finna blow this cunt's head off." They end up shooting at each other till dawn, and Balalaika shows up with her entire army in order to stop them. Keep in mind, according to the Scar Bunny herself, these soldiers could go into World War III with the US and win. They decide to settle things with some bare-knuckle boxing, which ends in a draw.
Wanna learn how to tie your shoe.
Roberta goes home with Garcia and vows to never kill anyone again.
God damn.
The next arc is incredibly short, and aside from some spectacular action, the only important stuff that happens is Revy saving Rock when she really didn't have to, as well as our introduction to yet another badass female character. Her name is...
Understand you? Yes? You got that, Chinglish.
Am I allowed to say this? Nah, fuck it, weeball.
Let's go, little Miss Chinglish.
It's funnier when you realize Revy is also Chinese.
Don't forget when we finish job, I carve some meat off your ass, stupid whore.
I did really enjoy the villain in these episodes. His cunning and chilled out demeanor ironically made him come off as more threatening. If only we got to see more of him.
Is this nigga serious?
Alright people, let's recap. We've gone from fighting the Mafia, the Cartel, the Nazis, a fucking Terminator. What on earth could we possibly be up against now? Vampires. Obviously. Okay, they're not actual vampires, but they sure do got the taste of one. These ashy little shits are here to kill. That sentence is over. They have no goals. They just want smoke. They ain't want no bread, respect, Mickey Mouse whorehouse, nothing. It's all for the love of the sport. Honestly, I respect it. Especially after Roberta, I want to see some bloodshed, goddammit. Thankfully, there's no shortage of butchering in these parts, and soon everyone starts getting involved. Even Balalaika gets intrigued, so she does some research and exchanges it with this other dude.
My specific request was for Eastern European kiddie porn featuring Romanian twins. An hour later, he had 250 titles for me. I spent a night and a half of the next day looking through these videos made for pedophiles and perverts until I eventually hit the jackpot.
Okay, ignoring all that, the kids' names are Hansel and Gretel. I guess that explains why they're not after any bread, because they dropped it all.
Oh, brother!
The kids end up getting some of her men, so Balalaika wants to put them down herself. Meanwhile, Rock and Revy are at the bar again, and guess who shows up? Child of God by day, special grade baddie by night. Dog, she got some big old bahonkers. Not sure if you could tell, they're pretty subtle about it. Hey yo, and she trying to throw that ass back for Rock? This is one freaky ass nun. I need it!
Can I please bite a chunk out of that ass?
So Lagoon Company is not to be involved with what's going on, but Eda convinces Revy to tag along in hopes of getting some fat doubloons. The Russians try to ambush the kids, but the plot armor is just too strong. They even outsmart Eda and Revy, and yo, I ain't gonna lie, these kids are weird as hell. Like, they explicitly mention them as twins, but then their minds like switch between each other as if they're the same person. They start kissing and shit. One of them even starts groping Eda at gunpoint. Seriously, these kids are fucked. The brother goes to kill Balalaika, and listen, I know he's a kid and he's probably dumb as hell, but with the amount of enemies this kid has made and how many they've slaughtered, I have a really hard time believing he actually thought she came there alone. Dog, Balalaika might actually be the coldest bitch in anime. Watching a child bleed out, like, he definitely deserved it, but still, this scene is just sad. Lagoon Company takes in the sister, but once they get to their destination, this dude just caps her in broad daylight. I don't feel bad though, this girl tried to put Rock on a watch list, and that just will not stand. Despite that, this was easily one of the hardest hitting endings in any episode to me. Those kids were turned into literal monsters, and the only way they could be free was to die. A large part of that goes to the ending music. Every episode starts with this awesome guitar theme, and then by the end, it's just depressing. It's so awesome. So Revy heads over to the church because it's hot as balls outside, when suddenly this Indian chick runs up to the doors begging them to let her in, and Eda's like, bitch, it's Tuesday, God ain't home, get lost. But then these thugs show up and start shooting, which leads to what might be the hardest scene I've witnessed in anything ever. Eda, the minister, and even the head nun come out and say, let there be light, straight baptizing them in shells. Sister even pulls out the BFG, biblical fucking gun. The girl worked for those guys making counterfeit money, and now they want her head on a pike for not doing it fast enough. My impatient ass could never be a mob boss. Eda's only willing to help her for a cut of the profit, because of course she is. Unfortunately, this becomes a much bigger deal than expected, and almost everyone in Roanapur is after that bounty. Even Chinglish. Like, what the hell, bitch? I thought we was tight. Okay, we fought the cartel, neo-Nazis, even Alucard's vengeful abortions. There's only one thing left for them to fight that isn't the goddamn Avengers. That's right. Cowboys. Not just cowboys, chainsaw bitches, a dude that's way too over the top, and my personal favorite, this one dude that's supposed to be a nice everyday Christian man that doesn't use guns because he thinks that would be going against God's wishes. So what does he use instead? A fucking flamethrower. This is the most terrifying villain thus far. They get into a full-blown shootout until finally Dutch and Benny arrive with the boat, but don't think the fight's over yet.
Pull him between your eyes.
So while the girls are taking care of business outside,
Put your pussy lips on live, I'll give you $1,000.
the Indian girl realizes she forgot her laptop, so Benny starts working his techno magic like, I'm in. It was quite easy, actually. I simply revoked the mainframe and jacked into the algorithm. Huh? Your techno babble makes me so wet. Eda's fine ass kills the cowboy, and it's with that we're off to our final mission of the season, back to where it all started, good old Japan. It's finally time to face the Yakuza. To be honest, I don't know why they even tried to conversate in the first place. It's obvious Balalaika will have them all on shirts by the end of the week. So while they're in the city, Rock and Revy meet these two characters, Yukio and Genji. Yukio is next up to lead the Yakuza, and Genji's like her personal samurai. They don't know all that though. Anyway, so during another pointless meeting,
さて、お名前は何とお呼びする？お聞きの通り、関東和平会はとかく外人を締め出したがっておりましてな。一つうちが助け舟だそういう気になり。
Revy's out in the hall and shit, then this absolute weirdo comes up and he out here trying to make a bedroom ham sandwich with no sides if you catch my drift. Too bad he puts up Tony Snell type numbers when it comes to Riz, leaving her pussy drier than an old bookshelf. The Rock comes over and he's all... They go to check on Yukio, but Walt Disney kidnapped her ass and are currently playing a game of strip bowling. It's pretty one-sided though, consent is a foreign concept for most alpha males. Genji and Revy pull up and you already know they about to fuck shit up. Needless to say, no one was safe. In the words of Frivolous Shara, these bullets don't discriminate, they calibrate.
Body with the stick, sit, shotty, grab it with the wrist flick. Cool, calm, collected with the devilish smile. I'll be the shoulder to lean on while we overcome trials.
Oh, yeah. Now that I like.
This one dude is begging for his life and Revy finds that to be just a real knee slapper. The very idea of mercy to this woman is fucking hysterical. Remember this because it'll be important later on. She finally catches up to Asian Jared Fogle and he's like, "When this can hits the ground, we drop." Okay, I can see why she's the queen now. In fact, she thinks so little of him that she won't even finish him off herself. And you know what? I get it, cause on some real shit, the last thing this walking hemorrhoid deserves is to die by a bad bitch. So Genji steps in and he's like, "I've got it. Let's play a game." Marco. Rock saves Yukio and her ungrateful ass is like, "Fuck you, bitch, I run this hoe. You cross us again and I'll unfit both your bed sheets." Dear God, we've lost her. Pause! Can we talk about Balalaika in this arc? First off, Rock tries to stop her from going after Yukio and I don't know what he thought was gonna happen, but she slams him on the car and is like, "So help me God, I will put one between your eyes." "Whatever you say, mommy." What? It's all good though, she let him hit cause he's goofy. Don't believe me? In the next episode, he's like, "You know what? Fuck them. Kill them all. Leave not even a memory of their existence." And dog, when I tell you he had her wanting that rabbit hole ripped apart and left with no remorse! I mean, at the end of the day, Rock is a businessman. He knows how to negotiate and banter with people. He got that correspondence type riz. Think about it. This man, this absolute dude of a guy, has had like half the female cast bent at the backbone for him, and he still has yet to tap. This is simply due to the fact he lets not even the coochie distract him from the task at hand. She, couldn't be me though, I'd be going crazy. You feel me? Get my corn and later. It's high noon in this bitch. Gunslinger versus samurai. Only the baddest motherfucker will prevail. They go at it. He cuts her gun, goes for the final blow, and... Didn't anyone ever tell you about bringing a blade to a gunfight? Oh, fuck! Revy, you good? The fuck you think, dumbass? There's a fucking sword in my leg! Don't worry, Revy, I'll just pull it out. Wait, what? Fuck this. At last, we made it to the final arc, Roberta's Blood Trail. A sequel so good, I'm not even gonna change the name because, I mean, what more do you need to know? The uncontested best antagonist in the series is back, the animation is the best it's ever been, the episodes are longer, even full-on ass and nipples. I have got to get my dick sucked. Speaking of which, Black Lagoon is another one of those animes that's pretty devoid of a lot of tropes found in most shonen. For starters, the show is actually funny without having to exaggerate every single minuscule detail for a joke that wasn't even funny to begin with, and to work back around to what I mentioned before, fan service. Yes, I am gonna use Revy showering and being braless in front of Rock to make a point. Now, it's not like this is the only time in the series they've shown her off, but I mean, think about it. If this was something like Fire Force, Revy would be constantly tripping over molecular atoms, somehow ending up half naked, and that would be the joke. This is the kind of shit that turns most people away from anime, or the scenes that your parents walk in while you're watching it. It's just weird, like, I'm not laughing. I'm out here trying to bust a nut, not bust a gut. We already established Garcia's father was killed by some American troops, but before all that, Roberta was one of the deadliest soldiers who ever lived. She literally has an M on her head in every country on the fucking planet. Garcia's father took her in so she could once again live a normal life, however, his passing has begun to eat away at her mind. The bloodhound is starting to come out. She starts popping pills, talking to ghosts. Shawty is tripping. Things escalate further once she finds out about the soldiers involved, hunting them down, carving up and torturing them one by 1. Meanwhile, Rock and Revy are at the bar. I wonder if this place is gonna be destroyed by the time the episode ends. Everyone's talking about Roberta's killing spree when suddenly a maid walks in, except it's not Roberta. Her name is Fabiola, yet another one of Garcia's slave servants, and of course, because she's a child, they don't take her seriously at all. Rookie mistake, never underestimate the maid.
And away goes your penis and your ball.
They meet up with the big man and Garcia gives them the rundown on Roberta. But they ain't here for Lagoon Company, no. They here for Rock. Please help us stop this crazy ass bitch. Rock isn't too keen on helping them and neither is Dutch, telling him they should stay out of it. And Rock is like, I bet, I won't even think about it. What does it mean? I absolutely love Rock in this arc. He puts his business skills to the ultimate test and ends up piecing everything together by himself. He essentially becomes the evil mastermind behind everything that happens from this point forward, and I'm all for it. Oh, well, what do you know? The bar is completely incinerated. It's all good though, it's Waffle House rules. This is only a code yellow. And guess who shows up? Salutations, good sir. Would you be so kind as to point me to every gun shop in the city? You dead ass right now? You tell me. Yo, this bitch is something else entirely. We ain't even gonna get into what she does later. Let's just take a minute, take a nice deserved breather to process that the US military and everyone involved at this point in time is at risk to her and only her. She plans to go to war with a whole country by herself, and by the looks of it, she damn well might succeed. Forget having that dog in her, she is the dog. Scratch that, she a fucking polar bear. Shorty has a thirst for blood, and she is parched. Things get so heated, the whole city gets involved. Revy even calls in Chinglish as well as her new friends. It's a fucking free-for-all at this point. First off, you got the Bloodhound on the roof. She has ditched the maid outfit entirely. She really was dead ass. I don't think she's missed a single shot. Bro, she is using a 50 cal with one arm. She's not even looking at them! This is the fuckest shit I've ever seen in my life. The gang below are fighting some soldiers, but one dude survives, so Fabiola wants to know where Roberta went. In exchange, they'll take him to a hospital. She went that way. Thanks. Remember when I said no mercy? Yeah. That hasn't changed. We cut to Roberta murking these soldiers with coat hangers because I guess guns were getting boring, until this weird motherfucker who woke up feeling Chris Breezy just lays the hands down, slams her on this table, and in that moment, Roberta knew there was only one way of getting out of this. Give up the poom poom. They start dry humping, tongue fucking and shit, all while Garcia is just sitting there. Bro, I want y'all to put yourselves in his shoes real quick. Think about how uncomfortable, nay, how downright horrifying this would be in his position. But before they can go any further, the dude's like, the pants, remove them. And she's like, aight then. And blasts him with the belt gun. Because, I mean, you never know, right? And dog, she beats this man to death. Fist through his head, pounding his ass into his asshole, all in front of Garcia. She freaks out. No, not in front of the young master. This can't be real. You're not real. I'ma shoot his ass to make sure. No, don't do it. I'ma do it. Don't do it. No! It would be pretty funny if that actually happened, but no, the American save him, which you could imagine doesn't sit well with Roberta. It's at this point she's reached her final state. Nobody can contest with her. What's that? You want proof? The squad tries to jump her. She breaks the chainsaw, kicks the flashy one right in the Marvelous Marbles, bites her sword, and breaks it! I fucking love Olive Garden, bro. You know someone is about that when Revy won't even step in. The Americans eventually get away thanks to Balalaika, but it's gonna take more than a tactical warhead to take this maid out. Revy's been shot and Lagoon Company is forbidden from interfering apart from Rock, who orchestrated the entire thing. He's been in Roanapur for far too long, he's slowly becoming one of them. Revy and Fabiola get into it, and at the same time, Rock plans to use Garcia as bait. Bro is tweaking. More of this, Rock, please. soldiers. Lagoon Company drops off the soldiers, but of course the Bloodhound's already there. She out here cutting off ears, spearing them with a 17th century javelin rifle. No one is safe. She will bleed them dry, even if it kills them. Dog, I ain't gonna lie, what happens next might be one of the most gangster-ass things I've ever seen in my life. Ignoring the fact that she just got sniped and walked it off, she notices her fingers are literally hanging by the ligaments. So what does she do? She flicks them off like she's drying her hands in a faucet. That actually might be up there with Guts biting the sword after getting stabbed through the mouth. What do I even say anymore? Forget about Revy. Roberta is Black Air Force incarnate. And it doesn't stop there. She gets lit up point blank and still kills the guy by throwing the gun at him. Make it stop. We're in the final stretch of the episode, and I'm just gonna say it, the ending did not do it for me. To be honest, I'm already kind of upset we didn't get a rematch between these two. Don't get me wrong, I know they're not supposed to be involved, and Revy would absolutely lose this time around. So why not have something like Etta and Revy versus Roberta? I mean, come on, that would have been so hard. Besides, Etta's the only reason she even got there in the first place, all a part of Rock's devious little plan. Garcia leads Roberta out into the open and finally convinces her to give it up. Well, that was really weird and out of place. The day is saved, and hey, at least a handful of soldiers survived. Intact. The series ends with Garcia and Roberta returning home with her missing some limbs, which is not canon, by the way, and Rock has one last chat with Revy on the boat looking over Roanapur. Oh, I get it. He's her Rock.
Oh, bruh.
One of Black Lagoon's biggest criticisms, and one that I can honestly understand, is the fact there's little to no character development, at least when it comes to the main cast. The only person who undergoes anything significant is Rock, and even then he doesn't keep this facade for very long. Also, Rock never once wore the shirt Revy bought for him. Like, what the hell, man? And while we're on the topic of things that pissed me off, I mean, this is Anime 101. The amount of bullets the main characters are able to dodge just because the plot doesn't call for it yet is actually comical. Especially the Americans. Their aim is straight booty cheeks.
She is right there, the fuck.
I have my gripes for sure, but the manga is still ongoing, and I'd love to see a big return of the series akin to something like Bleach. Especially if we could get the original voice cast, because this is undoubtedly the best English dub I've ever heard in my life. We can only pray for now. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye.
We living frivolous, this heel could get traction to that little mouth with your bitty tactics. Get the lashing, tried to cut me down and I pop back like baby, what's cracking? A smile, my reaction. Whooping asses.